Right now at 6, history repeats in Carterville with a third consecutive election tie.
And we have thunderstorms rolling through the area. You can see some of the lightning from downtown Pittsburgh, and some of these are severe this morning. We'll take a look at those storms and a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Spire seeks approval for a double-digit rate hike. What you need to know about upcoming public hearings.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Thursday, April 17th. We talked about the possibility of some strong to potentially severe storms this morning, and that is what we are beginning to see. Now, again, the good news is our severe threat was pretty low, so we're not seeing a significant severe event, but we are dealing with some pretty nasty storms out there in our northern counties right now, and that's what we're going to start with is a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we do have some scattered showers, some rumbles of thunder outside of this larger complex that you see up to the north, and that's where we still currently have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, both of them running until 6:15. For the leading thunderstorm warning here, we are talking, and the latest update here is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail that's going to be associated with that. And just updated. Okay, still the same threats. This storm moving southeast now at 55 miles an hour. The storm behind it is impressive. Now they're saying quarter-size hail, but if we throw on the hail tracker here, you can actually see this one very impressive, and it'll take it a second here to load, but take a look at that hail core on this storm. So the radar itself is picking up upwards of $half and even ping pong ball size hail with this storm. So we're talking some very large hail with this activity as it continues to surge off to the south and to the east. So that's why we want to monitor it, and we'll do a quick storm track for you on that, because we're going to update the speed. The last report had them moving at 45. They're now moving at 55. So if we take from the leading edge here and draw this thing southeast, so we're looking at Butler at 617, Appleton City 635, Osceola by 657. So again, it's if it holds its course, that's if it holds its strength, but still dealing with that. Then south of that, thankfully, nothing severe with this activity, but we do have some showers developing, trying to get organized, but that complex up to the north is really sucking all of the energy from down south here and pulling it into that complex up there. But as you watch on the loop, see this whole complex, the whole thing's moving east, but these storms here began taking a bit of a dive to the southeast. So we want to certainly keep an eye on it this morning, especially, getting ready for school, getting ready for work, because the lightning, whether the storms are still severe or not, can be dangerous, can be deadly regardless. So be cautious out there as well. All right, future track. Once we get past about 8, 9 o'clock, these storms are done. We're partly cloudy, we're very warm, we're very windy across the areas. Temperatures surge into the low to mid 80s out there. Our severe threat, this one for today, is what's happening right now. As these storms exit, this will probably be reduced out of our area. What we're more concerned about is tomorrow, where we have an elevated risk across now most of the area. Was a little further southeast, it's been backed up again, and even into Saturday, a low to elevated risk out there as well. Quick look at those temperatures, very mild, 65 in Joplin, 64 in Pittsburgh. We already have the gusty south winds bringing in all that moisture. We do have some upper 50s down south, but most of us are in the mid 60s, even some upper 60s right now. Kids get on the bus. Again, if you're in or near these storms, you want to be paying attention for lightning. We got low 60s, south winds gusting to 25. By this afternoon, partly cloudy, still breezy. South winds now gusting to 40, about 81. And as I mentioned, our highs today surging into the low to mid 80s as we head into the afternoon hours. We still have the severe threat as we head into Friday and into Friday night and Saturday morning. We're going to break down all those details, and of course, if any new warnings come up, we will certainly let you know. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a court in southeast Kansas sentences a woman for her role in a 2023 murder. Yesterday, a court sentenced Kimberly Thomas Nimbarger to 117 months in prison for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Nimbarger took a plea deal for 10 years for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and obstruction. Now, the court also sentenced her to 8 months for obstruction. The sentences will run consecutively. Yesterday's sentencing stems from an incident which took place back in 2023. Authorities discovered the abandoned car and body of 23-year-old Dakota Patton in a field in rural Labette County in May of that year. Now, they say Patton died from a gunshot wound. According to court documents, Clint Newbarger was the last known person to see Patton alive, arguing with him at a gas station over a woman. Now, while Patton was missing, Newbarger and Kimberly Thomas got married. They then traveled to Missouri for their honeymoon. Originally, prosecutors had charged Kimberly and husband Clint Newbarger with first-degree murder of Patton and conspiracy to commit murder. In October of 2024, Clint Newbarger pleaded guilty to amended charges of second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, while the courts have yet to sentence him. A sentence of 24 years has been recommended. And to be the first to see breaking news, whether in sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, if you're a Spire gas customer in Missouri, you might soon see an increase in your bill. But first, you'll get a chance to give your opinion. The utility company plans to ask the Public Service Commission in Missouri to approve a roughly 15% rate increase, which Spire says would equal about $14 per month. Now, the increase would begin in the fall of this year. If approved, the utility company says it will use the funds to help pay for an upgrade to its infrastructure.
Reliable natural gas service to our customers. So we have a lot of pipeline infrastructure in the ground that delivers gas to our customers, and it needs to be upgraded over time. As it gets old, we have to replace it.
Now, Spire also plans to hold a series of public hearings leading up to the proposed rate increase. The city of Joplin plans to hold one of the hearings on June 5th at MSSU's Corley Auditorium at 6 p.m. Now, there will also be two virtual public hearings scheduled for June 3rd, the first at noon and the second at 6 p.m. Now, for a complete list of all the public hearing dates as well as access codes for the virtual meeting, just head over to KOAMNewsNow.com, where we've provided a convenient link. Well, election season isn't over for Carterville residents. At Tuesday night's City Council meeting, Carterville officials accepted election results from April 8th. Now, there were two ties for City Council seats in Ward 3. A special election will be held April 29th to determine the winner of a one-year term that candidates Crystal Buckner and Larry Wald tied for with one vote each. Now, for a two-year term, Cody Franks and Mike Dudley also tied, but Franks was named the winner last night after Dudley bowed out.
At the Carterville United Methodist Church, there'll be a special election all day, just like a regular election, so it comes at a cost to the city, but we are incurring it. We've already wrote the check and it's being sent out.
This is the third year in a row Carterville has had a tie for a city council race. The Jasper County Clerk confirmed the city is paying $798 to hold this year's special election. Now, to look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Federal Trade Commission found that Americans lost $470 million to text message scams in 2024. Plus, new tariff warnings are shaking up markets as White House faces deportation backlash. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Columbus City Park. Now, topping Nation Watch this morning, Americans lost $470 million to text message scams last year. Now, that's according to new data from the Federal Trade Commission. The most commonly reported scams involved fake package delivery, bogus job opportunities, and wrong number scams. Fake fraud alerts were also sent warning people about suspicious purchases, issues with their bank, or links to pay fake unpaid tolls. The FTC says people should forward these messages to 7726 or SPAM to report them. The agency also encourages people to never click on links or respond to unexpected texts. Well, a new report says OpenAI is working on a social media network similar to X. OpenAI is the parent company of artificial intelligence assistant ChatGPT. The report by The Verge says the plan is still in early development. The report adds a preliminary model may include ChatGPT's image generation with a social feed. The report says it's unclear whether OpenAI will release the new social media network as an app or add it into ChatGPT. The launch of a potential OpenAI social media network will increase CEO Sam Altman's competition with Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and ex-CEO Elon Musk. Well, this morning, fallout over new warnings that President Trump's tariffs could trigger an economic slowdown. Fed Chair Jerome Powell issued stark words Wednesday that sent markets tumbling. Now it comes as the president is set to host another world leader today. Meanwhile, the White House continues to double down on the deportation of hundreds of migrants to an El Salvador prison, even as a federal judge says the Trump administration could be held in contempt for doing so. Jared Hill has the latest.
President Donald Trump on social media touted progress in his trade talks with Japan as the head of the Federal Reserve warned his sweeping tariffs could cause serious economic slowdown.
The tariffs are larger than forecasters had expected, certainly larger than we expected.
Likely driving up prices and raising unemployment.
We're making America great again.
Today, President Trump is set to host the Prime Minister of Italy, with whom he shares a positive relationship. This as California announced it's suing to stop the tariffs, arguing they'll disproportionately impact the state's agriculture, manufacturing, and other industries.
The uncertainty is pronounced and it is profound in the state of California.
Meanwhile, Wednesday, a federal judge said there's probable cause to hold the Trump administration in contempt over the deportation of more than 200 migrants to a prison in El Salvador. The judge gave the administration 1 week to either come up with a plan to bring them back or name whoever refused his order to turn the planes around at the time. The White House planning to appeal the case while standing firm on the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
He will never live in the United States of America again.
Immigration officials admit the Maryland resident was deported by mistake, but they won't bring him back, arguing the Supreme Court only ruled they couldn't get in the way of him returning to the U.S. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen traveled to El Salvador yesterday to meet with the country's vice president, but wasn't allowed to see or speak with Abrego Garcia. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, the White House slammed Senator Van Hollen's trip yesterday, calling it a waste of taxpayer dollars. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
We're continuing to see some scattered thunderstorms stretching along and just west of the I-49 corridor, but then we've got severe weather that is continuing in our northern counties out there. So we're talking very large hail has been the primary concern. This warning for Bates County now runs until 7 a.m., and that's for the storm that you see right here. But then take a look back behind it. We have this one that is into parts of northern Lynn County. And do you see the black marks in the radar there? We're talking the potential for some very large hail with this particular storm. It's definitely been producing very large hail up to ping pong ball size with this activity as it continues to slide on off to the south and east. We'll continue to monitor these storms as they roll through and have another look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
Well, a 2-year-old boy is home safe after walking away from his home in Arizona. The toddler spent the night wandering along for 7 miles until a ranch dog came to his rescue. Mason Carroll has the story.
The high desert of northern Arizona is unforgivable, especially overnight when temperatures drop and predators come out.
There were even 2 mountain lions spotted during the search last night.
These conditions are what 2-year-old Bowden Allen faced when he walked off his parents' property Monday and into the northern Arizona high desert. Yavapai County search and rescue teams jumped into action, but Megan Fitzgerald with the sheriff's office says cases like this don't usually turn out like they'd hope.
It's a rarity, so it is not every day that we get to sit here and talk about a happy ending where the child was safe and located.
But it was the 4-legged loyal ranch dog, Buford, who found Bowden the next morning, 7 miles from home.
Going down the driveway, then My dog was sitting down there with the little kid, just brought him up from the horse pasture and brought him over to the gate and was just hanging out with him. So
His owner, Scotty Dutton, says the only explanation he can think of is Bowden followed the power line all the way to his property.
You walk all night? And he goes, no, I slept under a tree. And I said, well, did my dog find you? And he said, yep. Power line lines out right to his house 7 miles away. So
the sheriff's office says they can't explain how the 2-year-old walked 7 miles, but they're relieved he was found safe and in good spirits. As for Buford, he's back to work tonight, but not without a little reward.
Oh, he's getting steak dinner tonight. My wife already said, yeah, no, he did a great job.
Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
And we're continuing to track strong to severe thunderstorms that are rolling through the area. We'll have another full look at your forecast and these current warnings right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:22 now on this Thursday morning. We're starting with Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see we have some scattered showers and storms along the I-49 corridor to just north of Joplin. But what we are keeping an eye on is this complex of storms here in our northern counties, so parts of Lynn and Bates County, severe thunderstorm warnings. The one for the storm that's back, and these are two separate storms. A little hard to tell on radar, but they're two separate storms. There's one here, and then this one back here, which has been producing very heavy rain and some impressive hail echoes as well. The one behind that morning in Lynn County there continues until 6:45. The one ahead continues until 7 o'clock this morning. You can see not a lot of lightning, but still plenty out there. Of course, the lightning itself dangerous and deadly, but definitely very heavy rain. And again, with that storm on the backside here, we've seen upwards of ping pong ball size hail with that storm. So we're talking the potential for some very large hail out of that particular storm. Stretching down I-44, we do have some showers, few rumbles, thunder around the Nevada area, stretching south toward Lamar, on the west side of Lamar, and getting ready to roll in Lamar Heights. Then we go down to Jasper, some light showers. We have a heavier shower right here on the north sides of Carl Junction, stretching back towards Oronogo along 96. Again, nothing severe with that. We haven't been picking up any lightning strikes with that. And then some lighter showers stretching from southwest Joplin back toward Quapaw, and then around the Neosho area from just leading to just south of Sarcoxy. All of these storms, again, continuing to roll out of the area. Now, the thing is, the group of storms is rolling to the east, but these stronger and severe storms up here began taking kind of a southeasterly dive, and they're continuing to do so. So if they continue like that, they're going to clip just our far northeastern counties out here. But as I mentioned, get some very large hail, especially with that storm that's on the backside here into Lynn County right now. So a lot we want to keep an eye on. Now, after this pushes through, we're done. 8, 9 o'clock this morning, it's done. It's over for the rest of today. We will be very windy. We will be very warm as we head into the afternoon hours with those partly cloudy skies out there and temperatures soaring into the low to mid 80s and south winds gusting upwards of almost 40 miles an hour. And to tonight and tomorrow, still very breezy, still very mild, upper 60s, low 70s. And keep in mind, that's where our average highs should be for this time of year, and that's what our lows are expected to be tonight. Now, tomorrow, what we want to watch is a couple of things with the severe weather potential. We could get prefrontal storms, or storms ahead of the incoming cold front by late Friday night. These could potentially become strong, possibly severe, and that'll start maybe even as early as noon. So we want to keep an eye on any showers and storms that develop ahead of that front, as one or two of them could potentially intensify. Then, as we go between 9 and 10, still looking at that same time when we get that cold front starting to push into the area, we'll have additional showers and storms, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe, with scattered storms continuing throughout the day on Saturday and into Saturday night and into Sunday morning. We could see some strong storms on Saturday and into Sunday as well. So this low risk today is associated with what's happening right now. After this passes, we'll probably see this risk area removed. Tomorrow, we have an elevated risk now across the bulk of the area. It's continued to expand. And going into Saturday, we have that low to elevated risk out there for us, and we'll probably have a similar risk as we head into the first half of our Sunday. For Friday, all hazards are possible. The tornado risk is low, but it does encompass the entire area. The greater concerns at this point will be with large hail and damaging wind gusts with the storms that we see heading into our Friday. All right, quick look at starting our day out there. Low 60s. Again, a few of these storms still holding on through 8, maybe 9 o'clock. And we're partly cloudy and into the mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. And I very quickly want to show you for Sunday, This is what we still have, is this possible severe risk reaching into our southeastern corners of our area. But for Saturday, that's what we got, is we have the elevated risk where this zone was for Saturday, and then we have that low risk that expands beyond that. Very likely what we're going to see as we head into our Sunday as well. So some strong storms will be possible on Easter. So this entire holiday weekend, strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. You want to make sure you've got the Skywatch weather app, and that you're also, if you have any plans, you have a backup plan as well. Upper 70s tomorrow, 60s into the weekend. Monday, a pause in activity, and then the unsettled weather begins to roll back in as we head into Tuesday. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, being the victim of disaster like flooding or a wildfire can have a long-term effect on cognitive function. A study by UC San Diego looked at survivors of so-called climate trauma and found victims had prolonged symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression. The victims also experienced greater difficulty making decisions. Well, having an affectionate mother does more than just boost a child's mental health. A study by the American Psychological Association found kids with affectionate moms had greater educational achievement, economic success, and health throughout their lives. The study even found that among twins, the twin who received more warmth from their mother was more open and agreeable as an adult. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the city of Joplin launches an effort to improve recycling.
And we've got showers and storms, some of those severe, rolling through the area this morning. We'll take a look at those storms and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Joplin experts share some spring cleaning secrets for a spotless home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Thursday. It's April the 17th. And as we mentioned, we do have some strong... What in heaven's name was that?
I don't know.
Something just like fell out of the studio. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully it's not something important. If parts of the set start coming undone, then we'll know it was something important. But we do have, on top of whatever that was, we do have severe thunderstorms pushing through the area this morning as well. And that's where we're going to begin, is with the Skywatch Storm Tracker and taking a look at those storms. So we do have scattered storms stretching from Bates County south toward Joplin and into parts of northern Newton County. But the severe threat right now is still into Bates and Lynn County. So we have this, again, it's hard to see it on the radar because it's one big blob, but we have one storm here and we have this storm here. So two separate thunderstorms. This warning that's back here where the arrow is right now is until 6:45. This one into Bates County runs until 7 a.m. The one that's back in Lynn County, now the public has reported up to quarter-size hail, but radar has indicated at times near ping pong ball size hail. So we're talking the potential for very large hail with this storm that's now into parts of northern Lynn County. And all of this activity is shoving off to the south and east at about 55 miles an hour. So what we'll do is we'll kind of get on the leading edge of this complex here. We're going to drag this off to the south and east a bit for you. So we're talking Appleton City here in the next minute or so. We're starting to get in on this activity. Osceola by 6:55, Stockton by 7:10 this morning. Again, we want to keep an eye on these storms, not expect anything too crazy, but very large hail, again, has been an issue with that storm that's now into Lynn County. Now, outside of that, again, we do have some scattered showers out here along the I-49 corridor from Drywood back toward Lamar, Jasper, getting ready to roll into Golden City. We do have some heavier rain paralleling the 96 corridor, so just to the northeast now of Carl Junction, Oronogo, Alba, and on the north sides of Carthage. No thunderstorm activity at this. We're not picking up any cloud-to-ground lightning with this activity. Then we have a slightly moderate shower on the southeast sides of Joplin, stretching from exit 11 on I-44 back down toward downstream Casino. So right now, again, the only severe weather we're facing is what's in Lynn and Bates Bates County. And in all honesty, this is very likely going to be the only severe weather that we have to contend with this morning. And once this is out of here, that's it. We're done for the rest of today. We're going to be partly cloudy. We're going to be very warm. We're going to be very windy across the region as well. And then we'll have our severe threat as we head into tomorrow, which we've got to watch. So this low risk today is associated again with what's happening right now. After it clears out, this will very likely be pushed off to the east. Then we have this low to elevated risk, most of the area now in an elevated risk for tomorrow from the afternoon into early Saturday morning, and a low to elevated risk as we head into Saturday. Very likely seeing a low to potentially elevated risk as we head into Easter Sunday as well. So a lot to keep an eye on. 65 right now in Joplin, 64 in Pittsburgh. Again, our temperatures quite warm out there. We do have some upper 50s in our southeastern counties, but most of us around the mid 60s this morning. So just again, recapping, looking at highs. Once we get past these storms, the last of them should be out by 9. We're going to go into the low to mid 80s out there, and we'll have those south winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. So a very breezy day ahead of us. We'll talk more about the storms that are ongoing right now and what we're expecting heading into the holiday weekend here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, spring is in the air, and so is the urge to clean. Now, according to the American Cleaning Institute, 80% of Americans take part in spring cleaning each year. Now, to help you tackle the dust and clutter, we caught up with Drew's cleaning crew in Joplin for their top tips on keeping your home looking spotless.
We live in Missouri and the pollen's high, so people love to have their windows open, and when that happens, then the pollen comes in, and so does the dirt and the dust. And I just put an extra time on the counters and are vacuuming your furniture, maybe cleaning your curtains, and even your bedding.
Now, the American Cleaning Institute says hard-to-reach places top the most dreaded things to clean list. And the city of Joplin wants to hear from its residents concerning their recycling experiences. Now, city staff plan to host a booth in front of City Hall at this week's third Thursday event on Main Street. Residents are invited to drop by the booth and share their experiences, challenges, and ideas about recycling through a brief survey. In addition to this event, the city invites residents to participate in a recycling education and outreach planning open house from 4 to 6 p.m. on May 6th at the Joplin Public Library. The city plans to use the information to develop a recycling education and outreach plan to bolster recycling efforts in our area. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Well, spending at U.S. retailers skyrocketed last month as Americans rushed to beat President Donald Trump's massive tariff hikes. And we have a warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Columbus City Park. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, as you shop for the Easter holiday, we probably don't have to tell you that candy is more expensive this year, especially chocolate. But sweet treats still make up the bulk of Easter gift giving. Wendy Gillette has a look at how new products are created for the largest candy producer in the U.S.
These are our Dove chocolate eggs.
At Mars Wrigley headquarters in Newark, New Jersey, planning for this year's Easter candy started about 2 years ago.
What do you smell?
Chocolate.
Sweet?
Yeah.
Joyce Steet does a lot of smelling and tasting in her role as Senior Director of Product Development, responsible for 26 brands, including Snickers, Skittles, and M&M's.
I have the best job ever. I eat candy every day.
There is a procedure when taste testing ingredients or potential products.
Go ahead and take a piece of the cracker,
including salt-free crackers and water to cleanse the palate, and sometimes not swallowing.
You can't eat every product that you're tasting. So just like wine, we do sometimes have to use a spit cup.
Good to know. Not today, though.
Not today.
There's plenty on the line here, with cocoa prices hitting record highs after bad storms, plant disease, and demand for chocolate spiked costs. Inflation has also driven up prices for other candies. Still, the National Retail Federation says that's not impacting Easter spending, projecting $23.6 billion in sales this year, near record levels. 92% of consumers are expected to purchase candy.
It's got a layer of peanut butter nougat.
Easter products from Mars Wrigley include a redesigned recipe and packaging for Snickers eggs.
A lot of nut, caramel.
Roasted peanut.
The company's sales and marketing divisions develop ideas for new candies, like the freeze-dried Skittles Popped Sour, released in January.
It's crispy, it's crunchy.
Steed's team came up with the recipe, which was extensively tested.
You can suck on them or chew them.
Oh, wow.
They're really sour.
Ready to help the Easter Bunny wow in those candy-filled baskets. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
Well, more people went shopping last month. The new federal report showed that retail sales rose 1.4% in March compared to February. Now, the shopping spree was likely sparked by consumers making big purchases before the president's tariffs kicked in. Car and auto parts sales jumped 5.3% last month. And Spotify and Zoom say their services are now back online after outages affected thousands of users yesterday. Zoom attributed its issues to a technical glitch. Spotify has not said why its app was down briefly, though the music streaming company has denied reports that it had been hacked. That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Chris for another look at the forecast.
We are continuing to track severe thunderstorms in our northern counties, and we're anticipating a new severe thunderstorm warning here soon for St. Clair County ahead of this complex of severe thunder. In fact, that just came down right now. Okay, so this one now is for St. Clair County and also includes northeastern Vernon County, running until 7:30. Let's get some details on this. We're looking at 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Storm near Shell City here. It's moving, according to the warning text, east at 50, but you can see the warning itself kind of drawn up on a southeasterly path. Additionally, we have the warning for Butler County that continues until 7 a.m. And here in the next 2 or 3 minutes, this warning that's back across parts of Lynn County will expire. So here's what we've got. We really technically have almost two different storms right now. We have this one here that's continuing to push off, and it's had the quarter-size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. This storm in northeastern Lynn County has had some very large hail with it. Now, the last reports from the public were of quarter-size hail, but on the hail tracker here, we can click on some of these darker greens, and you can see the radar at least is reporting half-dollar-size hail with this thunderstorm as it continues to push off to the south and east at about 55 miles an hour as well. Outside of that, though, we also have, and I do apologize, this morning I see it stretches into north central Cedar County as well. So this is just right around on the northeastern side of the Stockton area. We have additional showers, few rumbles of thunder occurring from now just east of Lamar, just outside of Golden City, paralleling 96 from Oronogo back toward Avila. And then we've got another shower on the east side of Joplin, so around Diamond, south of Carthage, and then stretching back into the northwestern portions of Newton County. But thankfully, none of that activity has been severe. A lot of the energy has been getting pulled into that complex that's stretching up in the northern parts of our area this morning. Now, here in the next couple of hours or so, all of this will exit the area. The whole batch is moving east. Even though the stronger storms, these severe storms here, are kind of pushing off southeast, they will be out of our area before too much longer, and that'll leave us going partly cloudy, very windy, and very warm as we head into the afternoon. Unfortunately, we do have another severe threat as we head into Friday, and strong storms possible through the Easter weekend. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. We'll also celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, award-winning actor James Brolin will be live in studio with us to talk about his latest project. It's a modern Western called Ransom Canyon. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to start with Tyler Payton, celebrating birthday number 19. Says love from your family in Altoona.
And in Pittsburgh, a happy 27th birthday to Madison Russian. Says here love Uncle Frank and Aunt Judy.
And heading over to Iola, we've got Jane Carver celebrating birthday number 57. Happy birthday.
And a happy 90th birthday to Beth Christensen in Chanute. It says happy birthday from Greg, Mark, Scott, and families.
And we have an anniversary. We have a 20th anniversary for Charlie and Ashley Epler in Columbus. It says anniversary. It's a repeat from yesterday. It turns out we put the wrong year. We want to make sure that we put it correctly. Yes. We will correct our mistakes. We're human. We're not perfect. We'll make mistakes. But you also want to know that we will correct those mistakes for you. So very happy, correct anniversary to the Eplers.
And continuing our list with a happy birthday to Bill Wright, celebrating birthday number 81 in Afton. It says, "We love you and God bless you from all your friends and family."
And in Scammon, Joyce Forrest celebrating birthday number 82 today. Happy birthday, Joyce.
And happy birthday to Emmy Jones.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has information for you.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries. Birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
All right, of course, very important information there. And I've got some very important information for you folks at home. We do have some severe thunderstorms rolling through the northern portions of our area. So right now into eastern Lynn County, Bates County, northeastern Vernon County, St. Clair County, and north central Cedar County, we have severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And we also have additional showers south of that, but we want to start here. So we really technically have two different storms. Even on radar, they're somewhat blended, but we have this storm that's here, and we have this one that's here. Now, the one that's up front here is the newest warning, and again, that's for parts of northeastern Vernon, St. Clair, and Cedar counties until 7:30. That's for winds to 60 miles an hour and quarter-size hail. Now, this one back here across Bates County and far eastern Lynn County runs until 7 a.m., so the next 12 minutes. The public reported quarter-size hail with this particular storm, but we have seen some radar-indicated hail, as we showed you all earlier, that has been a little bit larger. It does look like these hail returns are coming down just a little. We'll click on one of these brighter colors here because that'll be one of the larger sizes. So, but we're still at $half size hail, at least radar indicated $half size hail, but again, the public reported quarter size hail with these storms. So we'll continue to track them as they race off to the south and east. It's just barely. The severe thunderstorm warning is right on the northeastern sides of Stockton, so do be aware of that as well. Got some heavier showers around the Golden City area along 160, and from Carthage stretching back to the east, almost paralleling the 96 corridor out there. Some heavier showers, and also around Fidelity, Sarcoxy, and parts of I-44, and some moderate showers around Diamond just north of Neosho out there. None of that's been strong or severe because a lot of the energy has been sucked in by this complex, which, boy, it's been just a nasty looking complex since very early this morning. The whole batch moving to the east, but those individual thunderstorms began taking a dive southeast early this morning, and that is the path they are continuing to take as they roll on out of our area. Now, once we get past about 8, 9 o'clock, we should be done with these thunderstorms, and we'll have partly cloudy skies, very warm, very windy today. The thing I want to talk about the most, though, and that's why we're going to skip into Friday. As we head into Friday afternoon, we have that cold front coming Friday night. What we got to watch for is this possibility of thunderstorms developing ahead of the front because these could intensify on their own, and they could start as early as noon. That's not a guarantee they will become strong or severe, but they'll have that possibility ahead of the front. So we definitely want to keep an eye for any thunderstorms ahead of that front. After that, about 9, 10 o'clock, that front starts to roll in, and that's where our better chance for more organized, strong to severe thunderstorms will be as we go late Friday night and into early Saturday morning. And then we'll continue with scattered storms throughout the day on our Saturday, and some of those could be strong, potentially low-grade severe out there, and that threat continues into our Sunday as well. So again, this low risk for today is for what's happening right now. Once we get past this morning and they issue a new update, that'll probably be pulled from our area. We have the elevated risk that now encompasses most of the area for our Friday, and then we've got the low to elevated risk as we head into Saturday. For Friday, all hazards are possible. You see, we have this low tornado risk, and I'll just get right out of the way for the entire area, but the greater concern, as you can see, is the elevated risk for hail and wind out there. So for that large hail and those damaging wind gusts as a concern across the area. And this, again, activity continues through at least the first half of Easter Sunday. We'll be in the low to mid-60s to start our day, near the mid-70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Last of these showers and storms should be done by about 9 o'clock. We're going to have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., a group of Virginia high school students are coming together to support their peers who suffered a loss.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Kansas court sentences Kimberly Thomas Nimbarger for her role in a 2023 murder. Yesterday, a court sentenced Thomas Nimbarger to 117 months in prison for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The court also sentenced her to 8 months for obstruction Nimbarger took a plea deal for 10 years for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and obstruction. Election season isn't over for Carterville residents. At Tuesday night's City Council meeting, Carterville officials accepted election results from April 8th. Now, a special election will be held April 29th to determine the winner of a one-year term that write-in candidates Crystal Buckner and Larry Wald tied for with one vote each. This is the third year in a row Carterville has had a tie for a city council race. In Missouri, Spire gas customers may see an increase in their bill, but now with a chance to give their opinion. Spire plans to hold a series of public hearings leading up to the proposed rate increase of about $14. If approved, the utility company says it will use the funds to help pay for an upgrade to its infrastructure. The increase would begin in the fall of this year. For a complete list of all of the public hearing dates, visit our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Let's check up today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Bates County, northeastern Vernon County, St. Clair County, and north central Cedar County, with these storms moving to the southeast at about 55 miles an hour with quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, the primary concern. But again, this storm on the backside here now to the west of Butler has been producing some larger hail at times. We definitely want to keep an eye on that. And a few isolated showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder outside of that area, as you can see, stretching to the south, but nothing significant, thankfully, with that activity out there. Today, low mid-80s once these storms clear out. South winds gusting to 40. Watching more strong, potentially severe thunderstorm chances Friday into Saturday morning. A few strong storms possible Saturday and again for Easter Sunday. So again, just make sure you get the Skywatch weather app and you're keeping up to date on the latest weather conditions, because it could be a bit of an active weekend, unfortunately, at the worst possible time as well.
Okay. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Italian Easter pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Millions of pets go missing every year, but we have some good news. Next on CBS Mornings, see how new technology, similar to the kind used to identify you at airports, has helped reunite thousands of pets with their owners.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll see how one Kansas pilot went to new heights to ask the love of his life to marry him.
Plus, Captain Austin Wolf from the Job Police Department joining us in the studio to talk about the important role first responders play to keep us safe. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.